Hello and welcome to this Crochet Snake tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet this snake plushie. Let's get straight into the video. So the materials that you will need are a crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, scissors, a yarn needle. You'll need 12mm safety eyes. Then you'll need weight 5 yarn in whatever color you would like your snake to be. I'm using Yarn Art Dolce. If you'd like to use the same yarn as me, I have it linked in the description. As well, if you would like your snake to have a tongue, then I'm just using pink yarn for that. Finally, you will need stuffing. So you're going to start off by grabbing your crochet hook, as well as the end of your yarn. And we're going to start by making a magic ring. So I like to use the 2-chain method to make my magic ring, but you can use whichever method you like. So I'm going to start by making a slip knot, just like this, and then tightening that slip knot. And then I'm going to chain twice. So 1 and 2. Now for the first round, we'll be doing 6 single crochets into that first chain that you just did before. So you have 2 chains here and you'll be doing your 6 single crochets into your first chain, which will act as our magic ring. So 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So we'll start off by doing our first single crochet, just like that. And then we'll do 5 more into our first chain. Now for round 2, we are going to do 6 increases, and this will take us up to 12 stitches in total. An increase is doing 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So into each of the 6 stitches that we currently have, you're going to do 2 single crochets. And again, that will take us up to a total of 12 stitches. So now we are going to put a stitch marker into our last stitch, and I like to just use scrap yarn as my stitch marker. So this is just so we know where the end of the round is. Now for the next round, we'll be doing 2 single crochets and an increase times by 4, which will take us up to 16 stitches. So we'll do a single crochet into the first 2 stitches and then an increase into the 3rd stitch. And then we repeat that pattern 3 more times. So now we are just going to single crochet around for the next 2 rounds. So you'll just be single crocheting into every single stitch for 2 rounds straight. Now for round 6, we will be doing 3 single crochets and an increase times by 4, and this will take us up to 20 stitches. Now that you've completed that round, for round 7, we'll be doing 8 single crochets and then 4 increases and then another 8 single crochets. And this will take us up to 24 stitches in total. So your 4 increases will be around on the other side of your stitch marker. So we're just mainly doing the increases up here. Now we are going to be single crocheting for the next 2 rounds. So from rounds 8 to 9, we will just single crochet a round. So this is what your snake looks like right now. You can see the snake head is really coming together. And now we're going to start decreasing the head so that we can really continue on to the body. So for round 10, we'll be doing 8 single crochets and then 4 decreases and then 8 single crochets. And this will take us down to 20 stitches. To do a decrease, you simply go into the first stitch and then pull through the yarn, and then go into the second stitch, also pull through yarn, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So you're combining 2 stitches into 1. Now for the following round, we'll do 3 single crochets and a decrease times by 4, which will take us down to 16 stitches. Okay, so before we start our single crochet rounds, we're going to put our safety eyes in. Now your safety eyes are going to go on the opposite side to where your stitch marker is. And your stitch marker may have moved slightly to the left during the process of crocheting, but you will just want to find the spot at the top of the head where the most increases are that you did. So you can sort of look at it from the side and you can see this bit at the top, that's where we did the most increases. So your safety eyes are going to want to go on either side of this. So I'm choosing to put my safety eyes between rounds 6 and 7. So here's a little bit of side view, here's the stitch marker, here is where I'm putting my eyes. And once you're happy with your eye positioning, you can just use the safety eye backing and clip those in. So for this round, we will do 2 decreases and then 12 single crochets. So your decreases need to be at the bottom, so down here. So you see how my stitch marker has shifted slightly? That means that I can do my 2 decreases to start off the round, as they will be right at the bottom of the snake head. So just make sure that your 2 decreases are at the bottom of the snake. So now we're going to add some stuffing to the head before we do our single crochet rounds. So go ahead and stuff the head quite properly. You want the stuffing in the head to be pretty firm. And remember, you won't be able to add stuffing to the head later on, so make sure to do it now, because as you do your snake tail, you're not going to be able to add stuffing to the front of the snake, which I'll talk about in a second. So now we're going to be single crocheting for the next 50 rounds. So you can adjust this amount. So if you get to 40 rounds and you decide that that is long enough and you're happy with how your snake looks, then you don't need to do the full 50 rounds. It is totally up to you. However, I will be doing 50 rounds. One thing that you need to make sure of is approximately every 8 or so rounds you need to add stuffing, because you will not be able to go back and add stuffing in different parts of the snake, or it will get really difficult to do that. So make sure to stop and add stuffing every now and again. So go ahead and begin single crocheting a round. Okay, so it has been now about 6 rounds. So I'm just going to add a bit of stuffing. So when you are adding stuffing to the snake's body, try not to add too much. Usually I'd say to stuff really firm, but because we want the snake's tail to be able to twist and turn a bit, you won't want to add too much stuffing. So just add a bit every now and again, and then you can continue round. Okay, so we are just up to the last few rounds of single crocheting. This is what my snake looks like right now. So I'm now up to 50 rounds, but I'm just gonna do maybe 1 or 2 extra. Okay, so once you're happy with the length of the body, you can just put in your stitch marker. And this is what my snake looks like right now. I'm just gonna add a bit more stuffing. So I haven't added too much stuffing during the duration of making the snake so that I can easily curl it. But now we're going to do the last few rounds. So for round 63, we are going to do 5 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 12 stitches. Also, if you haven't subscribed at this point, then please make sure to subscribe. It really helps my channel and you'll get to see loads of new tutorials pop up on your feed each month. So now for round 64 to 65, we are just going to single crochet around. So go ahead and single crochet for 2 rounds. And then for the next round, we will do single crochet decrease times by 4, which will take us down to 8 stitches. Now you're just going to single crochet for the next 2 rounds. So go ahead and single crochet for 2 rounds. Now for the next round, we'll do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, and this will take us down to 6 stitches. So at this point, make sure to just keep adding a little bit of stuffing between each round as the end gets smaller. And now once again, you're going to single crochet for the next 2 rounds. And then for the final round, we will just do single crochet decrease times by 2, which will take us down to 4 stitches. Your snake currently looks like this, and we are now just going to leave a tail to sew the end shut. And then pull through to finish off. Add any final stuffing. And now we're going to sew the end shut. So we're going to go into the first front loop here, just like this, and go in, pull through, and then out of the second front loop, into the third front loop, and then out of the fourth front loop. Then you want to pull tight. So pull that tight, and then you just want to sort of weave in the tail. So just bring it to a different spot and bring it through a couple of times. And then you can cut off the tail. So this is what your snake looks like. And now this is optional, but if you would like, then you can add a tongue. So I'm going to show you how to do the tongue. So you're going to grab your pink yarn that you want to use, And you're going to do a slip knot with quite a long tail, just like this. And we are going to slip stitch into where we want the tongue to be. So I'm going to put my hook in the middle of the magic ring where the magic ring was here, and put it up one stitch, just like this. And then I'm going to slip stitch right there. So we pull through and then we pull straight through our slip knot. So now we're going to chain 5 times. So 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like that. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1 into the 4th chain that we did and 1 into the 3rd chain that we did, because our 5th chain is the turning chain. So we'll do 1 single crochet into this chain, and then a single crochet into the next chain. Now we're going to do 2 more chains. So 1 chain and then 2 chain. And then we're going to single crochet into that first chain that so now we have a spot here that we can single crochet into, and we have 2 chains down the bottom remaining. So we're going to do 3 single crochets back down. So we sort of just find a spot in here and single crochet. And then we single crochet into the next 2 chains that are down the bottom. So that's your tongue. And now we simply need to slip stitch back into the same spot where we originally did our slip stitch. But I'm going to put this second slip stitch just below it. So just slip stitch back into that magic circle entrance. And once you've slip stitched into that, you can just leave a bit of a tail over here and cut that off. And then pull through with your hook to finish off. So we're just going to put our tails into our yarn needle and bring them to a separate spot so that we can tie them off together. And then we can just tie these 2 tails together. And then cut off the remainders. And tuck the rest inside. And this is what the snake tongue looks like. So it's totally up to you if you want that or not. It's just an optional add-on. But this is your completed snake. I really hope that you enjoyed crocheting your snake plushie. I really enjoyed making this tutorial for you guys. And the written pattern is available on my Etsy. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!